We don't just look to the future, we build it. Welcome to Beyond the Verse. Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, Star Citizen Podcast. I'm your host, Sulyce, and this is episode 143. 4.7 is no longer a theory, it is live and available to play right now. And with it comes Operation Breaker Stations, which is one of the most complete mission loops we've seen in years. At the same time, the Aurora gets a full reimagined reset with variants, roles, and a clear entry path for new players. And behind the scenes and very quietly, an experimental virtual reality support just entered the conversation. This isn't just a patch. This is a shift in how Star Citizen is starting to come together. So on this episode, the Alpha 4.7 live release, the Operational Breaker Stations, experimental VR support, Aurora Mk II and Mk I refresh, the Aurora Q&A and behind the ships, roadmap roundup, crafting gameplay guide, this week in Star Citizen recap, and then we are giving away a CIG sponsored Aurora Mk II. So stay tuned on the details for that. A long episode. I'm really looking forward to it. This is we're going to kind of get through it on the faster side. I'm going to try to. So we're going to move hot and heavy. I'm going to share my screen where it makes sense and where I can like dive a little bit deeper and show y'all the where and the hows and the whys. But this is my chance to be able to connect with you beyond, see what I did there? Beyond the Today in Star Citizen segments. So throughout the week, I give you a quick little shot glass each day of what happened and what is happening each day. And it's really black and white on purpose. Here I get to divulge. I get to express how I feel, maybe express how some of the community reacted to the things that happened this past week. So like I said, a very hot and heavy episode, but I want to get started first and foremost to reinvigorate the community. We are pushing Extra Life this year. We pushed Extra Life last year and came over $3,000 for children's hospitals. We're going to pursue the same. We are pursuing the same here in 2026. So a couple ways to get there. I'm going to show you how. Here is the actual page itself. You can go to www.beyondtheversehq.com/give. It's the very top of the page all the way to the far right. So let me just kind of give you a little teaser for the giveaway page. It's right here, guys. So beyondtheversehq.com, here's give, here's Extra Life. You can click on it there. This is also the actual Extra Life landing page. We have currently raised $590 against a goal of $2,000 for this year. Our overall team rank is 104. So out of every single team across the entire world who is participating, we're 104th. So I can't be happier. We're a quarter of the way through our goal. But listen, all those numbers are one thing, but the actual mission and what we're trying to do is a complete separate thing. So you help your friends in the verse, help your friends and those strangers, the kiddos who need it the most, who are suffering in children's hospitals. Not a play on heartstrings. I am extremely passionate when it comes to children. Y'all know this, 143 episodes worth of me reiterating how much I love my kids and your kids. And this is my chance to use my platform to bless someone else. And I choose to do so through the children's hospitals. So awesome. Let's move on from there. I will remind y'all when we get closer to the end of the episode. So I hope this finds everybody well. It's been a very busy week. Like last episode, 142, is actually one of my most watched episodes on YouTube, one of my most listened to episodes on Spotify. And there wasn't really a lot of information. There wasn't a lot to cover, but this is completely different. Every single day this week had something, and it all culminated to, of course, Wednesday's release of Alpha 4.7. So deep in the night, we had the drop. Welcome to the rock. Here we are. Let's just go through the landing page. I will react and give y'all kind of my 2 cents on everything. But here we go. Explore and restore. Delve into the abandoned chasms of the QV breaker stations with open eyes and a loaded sidearm to procure as much loot as you can haul. Nestled in the Keeger Belt in Nyx, these stations are rife and with rare and remarkable resources for the taking. If you can revive the immense rock cracking power lying dormant within, acquire shared or exclusive rights from Shubin to secure access to the derelict repositories, gather your most industrious team, and make way to Nyx. Again, I will explain everything they just said. Shubin matters. Shared or exclusive rights matter. These are all things that we will cover in depth in this episode. There's a video. I've kind of stopped doing that. I want to make sure that I'm being respectful of what CIG has created, and I don't really want to maybe cross any licensing guidelines or anything. So there's a great video, kind of introductory, very cinematic, on what you can expect from the QV breaker stations. All right, derelict discoveries. 1 second. All right, the derelict discoveries survey the area. Deserted stations can prove tricky to access, so scope out your surroundings to find your way in. Keep a sharp eye as you comb the sprawling caverns and abandoned equipment for loot and other items of interest. I've said this before, but the atmosphere feels very much like the ASD missions that were in the end of Stanton. So Stanton, and before we went to the laboratories and Pyro, it feels very much like those. The Lazarus sites, if I'm not mistaken, that's what they were called. I could be wrong. I don't know at this point. But Project Hyperion. There we go. Project Hyperion. This is kind of reminiscent, in my opinion. All right, so be prepared. Teamwork, miners, haulers, crafters, and fighters. Now's the time to band together. Success will demand more than a single trade. A breadth of skills is essential to uncover, claim, and secure the haul during your exploration rights. Back in action, station repairs. Restore operations to the disused stations to utilize their full colossal capabilities in traversing the station and retrieving the wealth of rare resources within the asteroid. Scan each sector for the essential equipment you'll need to awaken its power. Then it introduced the Aurora Mk II. Now, granted, on Tuesday, we had we had a kind of a commercial, like a teaser video already announcing the RSI Aurora Mk II. So it wasn't necessarily that it was launching. It's just, here are your actual pledge store options. And we're going to get very deep into the Aurora Mk II, as well as the Aurora Mk I Special Edition and everything else that comes with it. Stand by for that. Alongside everything we just discussed with the QV breaker stations, crafting is here, an improved inventory, ways to get into the verse quickly by clicking get to work, there's starter packs, etc. Warbond upgrades, the Kruger L-22 Alpha Wolf, Misk Prospector, and Valkyrie, all ships that are probably really much needed in this mission. And then, of course, with every patch, we have a slew of featured vehicles that come back to the pledge store, or in the case of the Aurora Mk II, maybe brand new to the pledge store. Mouthful. So there you go, straight from the horse's mouth. Screen share. You know what we're about to get into. So let's actually do it. Okay, derelict discoveries, surveying the area, and be prepared. Teamwork. This to me is a very phenomenal mission that brings in every kind of walk of life. I think, like, you can talk about Hyperion, you can talk about the Lazarus sites, maybe even the initial QV stations that are out of Nyx. And what is consistent in all of them, or at least the majority of them, it's a one-trick pony. It's either really FPS or air combat, or maybe just cargo hauling. This is a full spectrum operation. It does require miners and haulers. Crafting, I haven't really understood that necessarily. In the QV station, there are puzzles. There are, just like we have had before, there are things that you need to overcome. The reference to crafting is probably just more generalist, but I'll be very honest with you. I personally have not actually gone through the breaker stations post Evocati. And then, of course, fighting, you will come across, as always, combat. I mean, I feel like that's a that's a done deal at this point. Like you should expect always to have combat, whether it is encouraged PvP or PvE elements. So I think this is a great step forward. It also brings a lot of the community into Nyx. Right now, Nyx continues to be pretty bare. There isn't any planets outside. Well, I say outside of good Lord, I keep saying Lazarus. It's not Lazarus. Levski, good Lord. Like outside of the asteroid, right, where Levski is embedded in, there is not a lot to do. Now we have, so Jenner, one of our officers in Soul Provision, has stumbled across the area of Nyx 1. So if you wanted to triangulate your way to some of these locations, you can. I'm not recommending it. It's not like it's going to be the most exciting hour of your life in Star Citizen. But Nyx needs more, and I think this is a good way of getting everybody kind of out there in that direction, which is good and bad. Because remember, it's not necessarily lawless, but it does open up many opportunities for player versus player, which I think is, personally, I think that's great. So here's what happens, right? Here's kind of on the back end. Of course, you have to earn your right to go to a QV breaker station. Now, you're either going to love this or you're going to hate this, but there is a reputation gate. In order to get the mission that takes you out to the QV breaker stations, one of your group members, so if you're going with an org of 20 people, you just need one person to have at least the level 1 ranking of Shubin Interstellar. And we'll get into the specifics here in a second. But if you want the PvP open, anybody can come to it. It's not like you don't have like exclusive permission to get into it. You just need level 1. If you want an exclusive right to it where just you and the 20 individuals have the map marker and can find it, then that would be the level 2 of Shubin Interstellar. So you have to earn your way to be able to go to the QV breaker stations and do the rock cracker mission. And then once you're in, basically, we already covered some of this, but you have to reignite, turn everything back on. And it's like puzzles and it's things that you need to solve for. And you finally get the laser to work, right? And once you get the laser working, you can continue with the rock cracker mission. It's, I can't wait to get into it. Like last night in our org night, so we have org nights every Thursday night with Soul Provision. We usually have like a patch familiarization night when new patches come, and it's just a social. You get your favorite bourbon, you sit down with a bunch of, like-minded friends, 25, 30 individuals, and you just experience the new things of the patch together. Well, this kind of gave us an opportunity to patch grind or to reputation grind. And so that's what we did. We bought a crap load of materials kind of ahead of the org night. So shout out to Jenner, shout out to Blast Resort, but they filled out their entire C2s with material and created a hub outside of Hurston. And so that hub of like 2 C2s gave us a place to go and grab a lot of the materials that we need and turn in missions. And so we had 20 people, I think at most at our peak, we had 20 people taking missions and going and turning them in and getting the whole entire group of us up to level 2. At least me, and I know a lot of the individuals got to level 2. So in one night, we were able to get enough reputation so that next Thursday night, when we do the actual rock cracker mission, we can actually have exclusive rights, take our time through it, and experience kind of what the station has to offer. But then after that, we're going to go back and do the PvP kind of oriented versions of the mission. Because like, I don't know, like I there's only so much fun that you can have, I think, by doing like the PvE. I like the idea of always having the risk of another org coming right behind you and ruining your night in a positive way. So I personally look forward to that. So I think this patch, as far as like the mission goes, I think it's great. It really does demand that you go with a group of people. So hopefully if you are a solo player, you're easily able to find a group of 3 or 4 more individuals. I think this is more tailored towards a group of 4 to 6 players to really have fun and be successful. So hopefully you're able to find it. Hopefully you're able to have a good time there. So let me just kind of fast forward through here. Yes, it talks about crafting. Yes, it talks about improved inventory, but we will talk about crafting later on in the episode. I do want to talk about the inventory rework. And just as I'm talking, I'll share my screen so you can see kind of the image of the inventory rework. And I think like asthmatically. Okay, so hopefully none of us just get asthma randomly from me saying that. Aesthetically, this is a great overhaul. It looks great. It looks like a video game in 2026. So I think, again, with the cosmetics, it's a great update. However, it's still very problematic. The stack all that everybody was really looking forward to is still kind of on the broken side. When you sort by name, it still does that weird glitch where it sorts by name, but everything's kind of frozen until it resets back to it being like a hodgepodge. So like the sorting kind of sucks, the stacking sucks. But what I will say, and I used this a lot yesterday in my play session, the actual search field. So let me go back to sharing my screen. This little search button, this magnifying glass right here, excuse me. If you have 11 pages of inventory like I do in my primary residence, you can easily just click on that and hit P4. And if you click on that and hit P4, all your P4 rifle and your P4 ammunition is right there. So it takes 11 pages down to half a page. Another example is I know I like the scorched like components to the rifle. So rather than trying to hunt through each one of the components and like how our peripherals or assets to put onto your rifle, I was able to just put the word scorched and it brought up like the 10 items that I have in scorched, like the size 1 compressor, the size 2 compressor, and I was able to easily put them onto the rifle. So it speeds up the process infinitely. So I will say it's a move in the right direction, and they didn't call it this, but like crafting tier 0 or T0, I would say this is probably inventory T0. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done before this is really optimized. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, how it's going for you, because my experience, for the most part, it's not bad. I mean, I've enjoyed it. Again, it's done everything I need it to do. So it's not worse than what we had, but it's not where they said we would be. So I think I'm at like a 75% happiness with this. So I'm curious what y'all's are. Where are you at with this? All right, let's keep going. As well as alongside of every patch release, there is a release note. So it's different from the landing page we just viewed, but it is, again, kind of a shot glass of what we just discussed. Beyond the headlines, what else came to us in features? So here we go. So this is the release notes. Again, I kind of like this page. You can get to it from Spectrum. So Spectrum in the announcements, that's how you get to the release notes. And what's neat about this is you can continue to click on this top right. It says 4.6 previous release notes. You can click that and just keep clicking. So 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, numbers are hard. So if you needed to kind of see where we've been to know where we're going, this is a really easy way to do that. That's just a little content creator, a little bit of advice or lesson learned there. Okay, so for the most part, this doesn't have really any new information. It's just an asset for you. So like, for instance, long-term persistence was enabled, meaning you lost all consumables, but you kept hopefully all of your components. Hopefully you kept all of your gear and everything else that was inside of your inventory. Again, hopefully. Starting UEC, this kind of means nothing to anybody because, I still have like 185 million UEC that's carried over from patch to patch. Some of you have a lot more. But so the starting UEC is 20,000. Okay, great. That's more for newer players. Keep scrolling down. Again, if y'all want to get into this, here is the nice expand all. I think this is new. This expand all collapse all. Again, helps content creators out a little bit. Okay, so this gets into like the gameplay features. We already talked Operation Break Your Stations. We already talked about inventory rework, crafting, fabricator, and blueprints. Additional gameplay updates. So AI overspawn guard. Okay. Put further safeguards in place to help reduce unintended AI overpopulation during missions. Okay, very good. Added Yormandy and Apex irradiated hunting missions. Very good. These missions will require a high amount of bounty hunters guild progression to acquire. That's cool. Very neat. That's actually one of those I really had no idea of until like literally right now that I'm talking to you. So that's awesome. All right, we already talked about the new ship, we're going to talk about the new ship, the RSI Aurora Mk II. Here's engineering updates, guys. Shield balance and armor balance, like just know that they're addressing it. There are many issues still around this topic, right? So shield balance, armor balance, I don't really want to get into it. I don't like the podcast being like very critical without solution. Like I will critique the crap out of CIG, but there's usually like a so what factor to it. Just know that the shields are kind of off. They're having to rebalance that, and the armor balance. We're hearing reports of like a medium to large ship being easily taken out by a small fighter by pinpointing a certain part of the ship. I won't get into any other details. I'm not that content creator. All right, so live support, increased live support cost to maintain atmosphere. Okay, this is kind of neat. I had an experience yesterday. Usually what would happen is if you were planet side with no atmosphere, and I don't know if this is necessarily live support, just an experience that I had. I was planet side on Aberdeen, and I was even making the comment to my org, like, it's just an incredible experience. The cloud coverage, how the sunlight breaks through the clouds, and it's not like ray tracing is turned on in Star Citizen. So this is just organic, really good graphics. It's just a beautiful experience. I was going to take a drink of crew because I was dehydrated. So I went from turning in equipment or items onto the freight elevator to the back of my Hermes. And usually what you could do is once you're on board, you could just take your helmet off and drink your crew, like regardless of having doors open or closed. And it was kind of a fun experience. I walked, I say fun, it's a butt puckering moment because I had a lot of inventory on my Hermes, but I walked into the back of the Hermes, everything was still open, and I was like, okay, I'm on board, so let me take my helmet off and drink my crews. And I started to suffocate, right? Asphyxiate, whatever. And, just, I don't necessarily know if that's what they mean by this life support update, but it was just one of those like, oh, cool. Like this actually feels like what would happen in real life. I need to close everything up. I need to turn the ship on so that way there's actual oxygen running in the ship, or actual atmosphere running in the ship. So I thought that was like super, cool. But I think that does kind of play into this life support update. So increased life support cost to maintain atmosphere, increase the exchange rates from life support to the room, decrease the exchange rates between rooms. So just a really cool experience. So radar assigned power now affects the aim assist, increased power demand for all radars. Activation power is either the same or lower. CS is only picked up on ping. New radars, I believe that's crime stat. So crime stat is only picked up on ping. New radars are available in shops. Added VMA support for radars. I need to get into the radars. Radars are basically brand new. It's a brand new component in 4.7. So I have not gotten to the muscle memory of getting into a brand new ship, driving to, let's say, Crew L1 and equipping it with a new radar. That's brand new to me. But there are additional radars now. And so we've got radar capabilities. We have radar-based aim assist, right? So your aim assist range is now tied to the installed radar. So that's really cool. And let me I'll go back to sharing my screen here in a second, but, there's like different variants of radars, and I think that's super interesting as well. Let's get into it. The following manufacturers have new radar variants available. I'm trying to, does it say what the new variants do necessarily? So I'm looking at this. This doesn't really explain what the new variants are doing for the manufacturers, but let me just read this piece to you. So new radar variants, a large number of new radar variants have been added across multiple manufacturers and ship sizes, so size 0 through size 3, significantly expanding loadout customization options. These radars can be purchased in new Babbage Omega Pro. Each variant has been individually tuned with distinct aim assist range profiles to reflect its grade and intended role. Recon-focused units tend to prioritize extended engagement windows, while combat-optimized models offer tighter, more aggressive assist profiles. So yet just another way of customizing your ship and its capabilities. Love it, love it, love it. All right, additional ship updates, new player hairstyles, people service stations. Here's new locations in Nyx. So kind of on the smaller implementation, it's not a planet, it's not Nyx 1, using the Genesis technology, but they did add 4 new social stations in Nyx. So managed by members of the People's Alliance, these service stations offer a safe haven with basic restock, rearm, and refueling operations, along with many different shopping options for pilots traveling through Nyx. This was a much needed addition. Much needed addition. First off, it populates Nyx. It kind of gives it the same, I'm going to call it respect, like Stanton and Pyro does. So you can see these as like a Seraphim station in Stanton. So these are actual, beyond just Levski. These are locations that you can go and actually recover rather than leaving Levski, doing what you need to do, coming back to Levski. You can actually kind of create little hop off points. So I think it's very much needed, a really good interim step between now and when we get Nyx 1. So exciting there. New lootable armors. That's awesome. Cortec virtual reality updates, experimental. Guys, we're going to get into the Spectrum post here at the very end of the podcast. I personally deprioritize virtual reality myself, but it does need to be referenced. We should talk about it at the end of the day. So there you go. A lot of bug fixes and technical updates. I don't usually get into any of these. You can read them yourself. There are many bugs in Star Citizen, and they are trying to tackle some of them. I will leave it there, guys. All right. There is also a Spectrum post as well. So you've got a little confusing. You've got the landing page that everybody is familiar with. And then you've got the release notes that kind of summarizes and adds to all the extra stuff, the extra fluff, right? But then there's a third that exists in Spectrum as well, this that I'm showing you, where it's how to get up to speed. So why are we here? A very quick executive summary of like what Alpha 4.7 is, but how do we catch you up? So this is what I always recommend for new players in Star Citizen. So if you are a new player, here, I'm looking at my camera. If you are a new player and you're like, yeah, Sulyce, I really want to get into 4.7. This is a great time to enter the verse. This is the page that you want to go to. You want to go to this page and click through all of the links. It is a great resource for everything. Basically, you can listen to this podcast as well because we cover everything that's in this list of links. But it's this new player guide, welcome hub for new players, welcome back pilot. So if you were gone for a couple of years, couple of patches, again, welcome back pilot will bring you up to speed on where you need to be. But again, everything you absolutely need to know on 4.7 is right here. So just sharing it for your knowledge. Okay, I think this next piece is super important. If there is one subject that I continuously get asked about, going back to my Evocati days in 4.7, through the PTU, through last night, there are questions about Operation Breaker Stations or the mission, which is Rockcracker. So they actually have an FAQ. Here you go. The FAQ. So this is usually done by one of the community members. And of course, I always appreciate, so this is Freja, always appreciate this. I think it's great. Always come here and kind of read the actual question. And if it's a question that I also have, I'll read the answer to. But how do I find QV Breaker Station? I mean, don't really care. It talks about shared rights are at Rep 1, exclusive rights are at Rep 2. And then you can say, well, what do those mean? Well, it's in the questions scrolling down a little bit. So you have to have the contract. The contract will give you a map marker and you go to the map marker. Can you replay this? Yes. What types of mining rights contracts are there? There's shared rights, exclusive rights. Again, I will cover that here in a second. Is this a solo or a group? Here's where you get the 4 to 6 players, right? So is it a solo or group? It's totally meant for a group. You can probably do it solo. I'm sure there is some sweaty out there who has tried to do this solo and maybe succeeded. Just get 4 to 6 people, guys. What rewards can I expect? A mix of FPS, lootable items, and ship mineable resources. So if you're going for Wicklow, or if you're going for, again, those rare items needed to craft, like this is going to be probably where they're going to put a lot of the gated resources in. What do you need? This is hilarious. What do I need? I need a helmet. Yeah, I think that's kind of a joke. Yes, you absolutely need a helmet anytime, anywhere you go. But I think this is when they start getting serious. So you'll need an FPS mining tool, a tractor beam, combat loadout. So they're telling you you will come in contact with an enemy at that point. Med pins, med guns. Again, you should never leave anywhere without a way to heal yourself. And then a mining ship, right? So it's not like a suggestion. These are things that you probably should have on your persons. Like, don't go there without a mining ship. Otherwise, why would you do this? It's a mining mission. Cool. Moving on. So how do you get around? Okay, whatever. More questions. Go explore it yourself. I will say this. In the facility, and I'm literally reading it at this point, there's a ring shuttle. So like there are other ways to get around. I think that's really exciting, but I really don't want to spoil anything for you. Again, I have not done this since Evocati. I'm sure it hasn't changed much since Evocati. But there are some very fun, unique, different things that you'll experience in the QV Breaker Station. So go do it. Have fun. Okay, so here we go. Where are we at? Okay, so the mission, where's the shared rights? I guess this is where it was. I thought it was a lot later in the article, but this is what's important. So what types of mining rights contracts are there? There's 2. There's shared rights. So other players may have or may be working at the same site. Whether that turns into cooperation or chaos is entirely up to the group that's there, but it requires Reputation 1 with Shub and Interstellar. And then exclusive rights, the station is yours alone, quiet, unpowered, and seemingly derelict, and no witnesses other than players, or no witnesses other players, requires Reputation 2 with Shub and Interstellar. So this is the piece that I continuously get asked. And so again, like I said, the org night last night, it didn't take much to get to, I think it was Contractor, which is level 2. It didn't take much. It took an hour and a half to 2 hours with, 20 individuals. So I guess that's relative, right? I guess that is kind of relative. It was easy for us, but might be longer for others. But once you're there, once you crack, another joke. Once you crack level 1, you can go do it. Just know that PvP is probably in your future, or you can continue grinding and get rep 2. So again, that is the most commonly asked question that I get. Go have fun, guys. Go have fun. The quicker you get this done, the more you'll be twiddling your thumbs between now and the next patch. So take your time. Work on getting your Shub and Interstellar reputation up. Go and do the exclusive rights version first and really just immerse yourself in the experience. Learn what you need to do, how to get around, what enemies you'll face, and then come back and do the PvP versions or the shared rights version. That's my recommendation. Do what you want to do, but take your time. Like even in my own org, we've got sweaties who are just like, I'm ready to get this done. They wanted to do it last night. They wanted to get in. They just wanted one person to have, the rights to it and then bring along 20 people to do it. That's a method. And then we're twiddling our thumbs for 2 months waiting for the next content to come out. Take your time. This is going to last us between now and ILW, which is patch 4.8. Aurora Mk II. All right, sharing my screen so we can talk about the facts, and then I will respond to the Aurora Mark II and the Mark I. So here we go. We already talked about this again in the Today in Star Citizen. They made the announcement earlier in the week. I believe it was Tuesday when they announced it because the patch dropped Wednesday. So you were able to buy it on Wednesday. So we saw the video. It's probably old news by now, but just like they did with the Hornets, the original Hornet was so old. It's one of the first fighting ships. They needed to do a complete overhaul. So what they did is they kind of had this last minute marketing push of getting as many of the original Hornets, as you could possibly get or want. And then they came out with the Hornet Mark II. Now, the Hornet Mark I, just like the Aurora Mark I, is still in game and will still be supported, but you will not be able to acquire, like using Pledge Store, you won't be able to buy any from here on out. But like behind the ships, John Cruz states that the Aurora Mark I will still be supported, will still be bug fixed, and be addressed. So it's not like it's completely being neglected. It's just they're done selling that model. And so the Mark II is what they're moving forward with. From here on out, there's an offboarding or sunsetting is what we call it in corporate world. So there's a sunsetting window of when they're going to be getting rid of the ability to get Mark I's. And we'll talk about that here on the next page. But just know the future of the Aurora is Mark II. And honestly, I think this is a phenomenal starter ship. I put it right above the Intrepid. So the Crusader Intrepid is a great ship. It's either 6 or 8 SCU. I like with the garages or the storage that drops. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 3 SCU on one side and 3 SCU on the other, and that would be 6. Last time I did math, but I think the numbers say 8. I'm not really going to dive into it in this current moment. It's either 6 or 8. Okay. So the Aurora Mark II has a cargo capability, and it has a 6 SCU cargo module, right? But then it has the standard 2 cargo, SCU cargo, that's also underneath the Mark II. So it has a 2+6 setup. So it has 8. So it's got, at the very least, it has the same capabilities as the Intrepid. But this also has modularity. So you're able to switch. If you're not going to run cargo, you can drop everything and put the fighters or the combat module on. And so I would personally put this above the Intrepid. I personally like it. I think it looks better than the Intrepid, but I'm an RSI guy, and I like the direction that they're going. So the Aurora Mark II is if the Ornithopter and Scorpius had a baby. So the Dune helicopter or the RSI Scorpius. That's exactly what this is. So as I go through the pictures, like I could talk about the pictures, but let's talk about like, I guess, the modularity of it. I think that's the most important piece for me. So this is the first time that a starter ship is getting modularity. So you're not stuck. If you're a new player, you're not stuck with how you want to play. This would be what I would recommend somebody who doesn't necessarily know what kind of play style they want. Like if you're going to be in cargo, I think starter ships for you would be like the Nomad. The Hull A, I think it's like a $60 if I'm not mistaken, but 64 SCU on the Hull A. So if you're wanting to do cargo, I would say a Nomad. I would say the Hull A. But if you're not sure and you're like, well, that sounds like fun, I might dabble in that, but I kind of also want to do combat. Again, this is why I put this as probably the best starter ship before you get into the 3 digits like the Cutlass Black. All right, so this first one, modularity utility. So in the DM model, which is your combat module, it gives you an additional 1 size 1 shield generator. So more shields. That's also always good. Survivability. It also gives you 8 more size 2 missiles. Now the missiles are located on the wings. So if your wings get blown off, you lose all of your missiles. Just let that play into your decision making. The TS module, that's Tango Sierra. The TS module is the cargo, and it's going to add an additional 6 SU. Now, again, it comes with 2 SU. It's like a little drop down in the middle, in the mid of the ventral, the bottom part of the ship. So you're going to have 2 SU regardless, but if you want that extra 6, the TS module. Here are some pictures. I mean, it literally talks about the TS cargo module. I don't think there's really much more to add to that. The DM combat module, again, shield and weapon systems. That's great. Here are your different paints. So if you are a concierge member and you're one of those space whales, Cloudbuster is your paint. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan, to be honest with you. Usually the black and gold and kind of the gunmetal, like that's usually the Chairman Club kind of paint scheme. This one kind of looks like a base Zeus CL. So it's like white, blue with yellow highlights. So I'm not a huge fan, but let's just go through the pictures. The shade is probably one of my favorites because it's, go figure, it's black. Like it's black. I don't think it has much highlights. I think it's black with maybe a gunmetal highlight. So there's that. The Caspian is an extremely bright blue. Obscurity, this is like your black and red highlights, but it does have a little bit of white in there as well. Pretty cool. The medallion is camo. So, I mean, can't go wrong with medallion. I think that's a really good color scheme, but it's that kind of OD green with the copper highlights. Always a great combination there. And then the shimmer scale. So the shimmer scale looks really good. It's almost like an Alien Week theme. It's that like luminescent color between like purple and green. I've seen some cars in real life that have that paint. It's very trippy. But I think that's done really well. So you'll get the shimmer scale as well if you buy now. All right, marking the end of an era. This does talk about the Mark I Special Edition. We'll get into that here in a second, actually on this next page. But the Special Edition kind of brings the best of all the different Mark Is into one ship. Talk about that again here in a second. But here's the RSI Aurora Mk II, right? Limited time or limited edition paint offer. For a limited time, get the shimmer scale. This is the luminescent purple/green. You'll get the shimmer scale paint free in Aurora Mk II War Bond pledges. War Bond just means new money. So you're not using store credit. You're spending new money to get this or available separately. So you can buy this separately if you wanted to. There is a starter pack. Guys, this is a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I was predicting closer to like $100, like maybe not as expensive as a Cutlass Black, but definitely more expensive than some of the other starters. But this is actually a really affordable starter pack. Now, this $45 starter pack, it doesn't come with the modules. So like I think we need to be like aware of that. But yeah, I mean, what a great price tag, in my opinion. What a great price tag. Because that also comes, if I'm not mistaken, what are you doing? It also comes with the game pack. So you can play the entire Star Citizen game for $45 right now. But it's not out yet. It's a scam. Anywho, here are your Chairman Club offers. Again, coming with the Cloudbuster paint. Here's your $40, right? But if you wanted to get both modules, $55. So not a bad gig. And for the standalone ship, same prices. If again, War Bond, if you're not a concierge member, again, $40 for the War Bonded Mark II, and then the same $55 if you wanted to get the 2 modules with it. So I personally, if you're already spending $40 to $45, you might as well spend the extra $10 and get both modules. My personal opinion. Each module is $10. So if you wanted to get just, again, I don't know why you would do this, but if you want to get just the standalone ship at $45 and then get only one module, that would be 10 plus 45 is 55. Why would you not just get the $55 ship plus the 2 modules? I don't know. Math is not always my strong suit, but that adds up to me. You can get all the paints if you wanted to. You can upgrade to the Aurora Mk II as well. Boom. Let me just react to this. actually really like the Mark II. I made the comment the other day in game with a couple of my friends. I love big ships. I can't wait for the battle cruiser to be announced. I can't wait for the Ironclad to come out in ILW. I can't wait for the Javelin to come out and Arside Galaxy. I can't wait for all of these ships. I think it's going to be amazing when those larger ships come into play. But there's something to be said about like taking a step back and just being in a starter ship. Fast, nimble, everything's right there in the cockpit with you. So as you get out of the seat and you turn around, you're right there at the bed and the kitchenette and the storage locker and your armory. It's all right there. It doesn't take you 5 minutes to walk around a Polaris or a Perseus. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I've said this before. I like the zero to hero approach. I know I'm Legatus. Like, I know I'm never going to have that experience ever in the game. But that's, I decided to make a podcast about this game. But there's a part of me that kind of wants to play sometimes in the most minimal way. And by minimal, I mean size, not Drake. Okay. I said that for a reason. All right. Mark II. I think it's great. Go get yourself one. The Mark I, this is less about the Mark I as a series, as a whole. This is more about the special edition. So unlike, and if I'm like 99.9% sure they did not do this for the Hornet, but what they did is they took all of the best features of the existing like CL, ML, I actually don't know the actual acronyms. We'll get into them in a second. Or the nomenclature for the Auroras, but all the old Auroras, what they brought to the table, they kind of combined and made it into a special edition. I kind of see this as like the GT of a Mustang, right? Or the California edition of the Mustang in real life. It's like it's a trim. It's like the ultimate edition. The GT Shelby 500. I'm insulting a lot of people, I'm sure, but the Shelby Cobra, right? I think that is kind of along the same lines of what we're looking at. Now, is it as capable? No, no. But if you were going to get an old school Mark I, this is, instead of buying like the 10,000 versions that exist, I think this is a really good summary. So here we go. The Aurora Mark I SE. Don't care about the length, width, or height. Don't care. But it does have 6 SU cargo, so 2 less than the Mark II. It's got 4 size 1 weapons and 1 size 4 quad rack missiles. So capable of delivering small missions, capable of maybe not winning a lot of bounty hunting, but maybe surviving an escape. It's beautiful. I'm going to go through the pictures real quick, and I am sharing my screen, just making sure. It's got beautiful imagery. Texture is really awesome. It does have that maybe luxurious interior like you would see in a Shelby Cobra. I'm going to say a lot of the updates at the Mark I. It is a Mark I, so it's got all the updated stuff, like the better looking doors and peripherals. And then what was the other thing? There was something I really wanted to talk to y'all about. Dang it. This is why I should probably write show notes, but then I get accused of reading. So whatever. It'll come to me at some point in the next couple of seconds. You can put any paint on it. So it comes with this nice black and red. Go figure. That's my favorite. So it's going to come with the black and the red. It's gorgeous. If you wanted to apply all the other paints, they do. All 20,000 freaking paint jobs will apply to the special edition. So really awesome there. Let's see. I think we're done. Price tag on it is a little bit more expensive than the Mark II, which is always going to be ironic for me. But it's like $50 for the standalone ship. It's $60. What's the difference here? Standalone ship. Oh, one's War Bond. So the War Bond is going to be about $10 cheaper at $50. And then if you wanted a store upgrade to it, it's $60. Then of course, here we go. Here's the acronyms. So the CL, the ES, the LN, the LX, and the MR. several versions. So again, the best of the 5 being applied to the special edition. I bought it because of FOMO. Okay. Like I'm probably never going to fly it. And quite honestly, here's my game plan. My game plan, and this is just how much of a space whale and entitled I am. Hopefully I'm not the only one who's doing this, but like I will probably have it out in my hangar as like a museum piece. So like immersion and role playing, I'm probably going to have it pulled out off to the side just to have there. You've heard me say this before, but like the medical terrapin, I have that pulled out and in the corner of my hangar, kind of next to the medical room, so that I have a way of healing myself inside of my hangar. So like I have this like standard hangar setup. It's one of the first things I do when I start a new patch, but I will never fly the medical terrapin. I hate the terrapin as a ship. Just my own cosmetic barrier there. So I have that pulled up. I have it off in the corner. The MR or the special edition Mark II Mark I is more than likely just going to go kind of next to it. I wanted to have it because it is the last chance to really own a Mark I. Cool. Don't judge me. If anything I said excited you about the Aurora Mark II, here's the giveaway information, everybody. So beyondtheversehq.com/giveaway. You can get to it by going to the website, going to podcast up here and clicking on the word getaway. Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm giving away a vacation. Podcast giveaway, click here, and here you are, the supply crate. So this is a giveaway for the RSI Aurora Mark II with lifetime insurance. Of course, the game package, the digital game package of Star Citizen, but this is also coming with the combat module and the cargo module. So the DM and the TS, right? About a $55 value at this current moment. So really not a bad dollar value as well. Details, we close this down Thursday into business. So at the end of my org night on Thursday, April 2nd, so next Thursday, I will shut it down. And then I will announce the winner on that next episode. That Friday morning when I'm recording, we will get into the winner for this week. So administratively, just answer these questions. The engagement question, guys, I'll say this again. I'll continue to say it. The engagement question is just to give us something additional. You're not just liking and subscribing and giving me metrics. I hate that approach from content creators. This is a question for you to be engaged with the community, that the answers get sent to CIG and their community team. I don't know what they do with it, if they even care to see it, but I do send the results. I take away all doxing information, but the quotes are there. And so the question that I'm asking you to answer is that you've just powered up a breaker station deep in the Keeger belt. Do you claim exclusive rights for safety or share access and risk player conflict for greater rewards, and why? So this plays into what we've been talking about the entire episode. Are you a Reputation 1 PvP chance QV breaker station player? Or are you a Reputation 2 exclusive rights QV breaker station player? And then tell us why. Cool. Roadmap update. All right. Going quickly through here, there's a mentioning of 1.0. So if you're not paying attention, pay attention. 1.0 gets mentioned. All right. 4.7. Again, we're going to go right past this. Nyx Missions Pack 2 has been set to committed. That's for a later 4.7x. The RSI Aurora Mark II is launched. ICE Adult Valakar. So they're adding the ICE Adult Valakar that players can find within the QV breaker stations that has been released. And then the ICE Juvenile Valakar has been released. Super exciting. Kind of gives a spoiler. I wasn't really wanting to say this, but it's in the freaking notes. Adding the ICE Juvenile Valakar that players can find within QV breaker stations. So you're not just fighting people. Alpha 4.8. Refueling missions, guys. Refueling missions. I'm not going to say who it was, but last night I was like, hey, what does everybody think the new Origin ship is going to be? And somebody said, Well, they're bringing refueling missions. So Origin is now making a refueling ship. No, with all due respect, that would be completely against the manufacturer history. They are a VIP transport company. I can see them doing a generalist ship in the next couple of weeks or months. So we'll probably see Origin spike up a little bit, but that refueling is not. It's not a thing. Not for Origin anyways. So does the refueling missions introduce a new refueling ship? I can see that because right now we don't have many options. I could see a small or a medium refueler. I think that's very possible. But we got missions coming in 4.8, refueling improvements, obviously. Flight suits, G-force resistance coming in 4.8, ship hangar services T0. Hey guys, this is huge. Huge for 4.8. Implementing service gameplay updates that draw from resources stored in your ship's cargo grid to fulfill refueling, repair, and restocking requests via dedicated service hangars. That's huge. That's a game changer. Be watching for that. Vehicle command module. Oh, shocker, guys. Shocker. Who's surprised? We know that the Ironclad is coming in ILW. We know 4.8 is we'll call it 4.8X. I'm not saying 4.8 exactly will be ILW, but that will be the ILW timeframe. We're getting the Ironclad. That requires the vehicle command module to be live. So, hey, there you go. Reading the tea leaves. New Wicklow ship offerings. Wicklow, seriously, get. I don't give two craps about Wicklow. So sorry, not happening. Ultiflex crossbow. There's a crossbow coming, guys. I think I teased that last episode or one of the last episodes ago. So crossbow, that'll be fun to stab and I was going to say penetrate your friends. That's not going to go well on this podcast. Don't cancel me. Please don't. Kesar plasma grenade implementing. I'm going to move on quickly. So plasma grenades. It's funny. I read this and immediately thought of the plasma grenades in Halo. Like one of my favorite things to do in Halo is to throw a plasma grenade on one of the enemies and have them start running around crazy and they blow up their friends. So I immediately thought that, like, how chaotic that would be being introduced into Star Citizen. All right, transport system. Implementing the new transport system, a full rewrite of transit access across the universe, supporting trams, trains, and elevators. Thank God. Please fix the elevators. I'm tired of it being our 4th or 5th year of doing this and elevators being just still an issue. But all being fixed and addressed because of server meshing and instancing. So super huge. And then the Aegis Hammerhead, gold standard. I think y'all know this about me for you longtime listeners. Aegis Hammerhead, that is my RP ship. I love the Hammerhead, and I loved role playing and just being immersed in the verse, flying the Hammerhead. Right? Star Citizen 1.0 Maelstrom. It's just a quick mentioning that Maelstrom, which is the new physically based destruction system that we have heard about since many Citizen Cons ago. It has been set to tentative. So movement in Star Citizen 1.0. Do with that what you will. 1.0 is so far removed and in the future for me. I don't put a lot of stock into what it is and what it means. Crafting. I saved crafting for one of the last items because it's still lacking. Dismantling is kind of broken. And I think that's a huge kind of damn it. I was really looking forward to crafting, not because dismantling my inventory gives me 500 quality items. Who cares at that point? It's that it's not really working. You put it in and you're not getting the experience that you expected. So a lot of individuals are waiting to really get into crafting. Right now, they're focused on getting blueprints just so that when that day comes. So take crafting with a grain of salt. It's here. It's in the verse. It's got some issues. Go have fun. It might work for you. That's the weirdest thing about Star Citizen is sometimes what is a common issue is not impacting you. And sometimes what is impacting you is not a common issue. So I can't really explain it. Don't really know why, but I'm personally holding off on doing a lot of crafting things until a lot of this gets fixed, right? Until the back end gets fixed. I can't wait to have a dismantling party and all that fun stuff. What I will tell you now is that first off, your fabricator that you got in the Alliance Aid missions this last couple of patches, it's not available yet. It'll be a 4.7.x release. I think they even might have said 4.8, but it is coming in the near future. So you actually have to go to a refueling station like Crew L1, and you go to the refinery and you can purchase your fabricator there. So you have to actually go and buy your fabricator. And once you do, bring it back to your hangar, do whatever you want with it, keep it aboard a ship if you wanted to. But then you can craft. So this goes into about resource quality being between values 0 to 1,000. Basically 500 and less is to make ammunition and kind of, more irrelevant items, but anything above 500 starts getting into new stats for your weapons and armor. Here's your blueprints to collect and craft. So that's all like fine and dandy. More pictures. Here's your item fabricator that mentions that you can go and get it from other locations. Again, this does also, I'm just to remind you that the fabricator you got in the Alliance Aid is not ready yet. So don't be surprised when you go into your inventory and you're like, where the crap is the one that I got? So just stand by for that. Crafting user interface. Again, like there are guides. This page is nice. It's pinned in my Discord for everybody to see as well. Become familiar with it. But again, I'm going to wait to really get into all of this until like a future podcast. I'll probably screen share. I will show you actually in the game what crafting looks like and feels like. But again, this is just a shot glass, quick flyby of what now exists. So crafting, dismantling, guys, it's still not really there. It's kind of broken. It is what it is. So dismantling kind of sucks. Here is the future of crafting. I think this is kind of cool. I'm going to read this very quickly. There's a lot to cover. So let me see. I had a game plan. Let's just, let's go into it. So additional items, vehicle components and weapons, that's important. Vehicle components. So if you want to build your own or craft your own stealth, component, you can do it eventually. Base building, buzzword, buzzword. This talks about base building, guys. Or crafting entire vehicles, right? This is, again, future. Additional stats for all craftable items to provide increased variety, customization. Catalyst, optional items which unlock additional benefits. NPC shops pay more for higher quality materials, so a moneymaker opportunity. Crafted gear may be looted from select NPCs or found in crates. Dismantling this loot will result in appropriate quality values on the materials. Cool. Player trading will support transactions of quality materials and crafted items. Base building, another buzz phrase, will add additional support for player operated stores and advertisements. Guys, this is what I wanted to call out. I love this. Base building will add additional support for player operated stores and advertisements. This could be its own podcast. Yes. Like that is the heart and soul and spirit of Soul Provision. I cannot wait for us to have a shop, like a general merchandise sales, area within our base. That's gonna be so much fun. In advertisements, like the mental sandbox that I get into of like what this could possibly look like. Just imagine, I'm just going to go to Aberdeen. It's not the most pretty place in the world, but it's the last planet that I was on. So imagine going to Aberdeen, setting up shop. You create, your perimeter, your safety defenses first. Like you want to make sure that you can survive something. So you set up your security first, but you know that you're going to want to sell things. So you strategically place just like a post. If you're in the military, a post, in the United States, you have that kind of general access area. And then you've got echelons or layers of security that get deeper into the base but laying out the structure of the base, where to put shops, what kind of shops are where. I'm thinking there's an armor shop on the left when you first walk in, and then a weapon shop right next to it. It's owned and operated by an org member, but the advertisements is something that we can be creative and build upon. Like I can see this being Star Citizen. Like for me personally, it's not the raids, it's not the tactical strike groups, where those are fun, and that's probably how you're going to get a lot of the materials. Like that's all great, fine and dandy, but I would literally spend hours. I would spend hours, if not days, just living in my base. And I think that's a lot of you out there. A lot of you, that's why we're playing Star Citizen. But just that sentence alone, right? Base building will add additional support for player-operated stores and advertisements. Freaking done. There's more in here, guys. Blueprint acquisition, blueprint tiers, interfaces, item functionality, pledge gear and crafting vehicles, additional fabricator types, salvage, new refining system, all there. Go read it. Crafting gameplay guide. Check it out. Okay. VR support. I'm hesitating like actually getting into this because I just don't care. It has a lot of work to do still. I don't get nauseous playing virtual reality. I know it does for some individuals, but if it's not perfect, if it's not like optically and everything laid out like perfectly, I think there's an initial wow factor. But then after you're past that initial wow factor, it's just easier to go back to your VKBs, go back to your sticks, mouse and keyboard. I have the Tobii eye tracker. Like this is enough for me personally. So VR support, I'm reading it. I'm clearly sharing my screen for you. This is all great. It's just not a huge thing for me. So great updates. If this is your thing, if VR support is your thing, this is a great release for you. Major updates, moving in the right direction. User interfaces. I think for me, this is the important piece of like getting the map markers not duplicated, like making sure that it looks good, feels good. Again, I'm not going to touch this until it's optimized and done personally, but it is stepping in the right direction. This is absolutely, at the very least, this is absolutely evidence that they are committed to VR. You will have VR. Now, question. Will Squadron 42 have virtual reality? Because remember, Squadron 42 is coming out as a complete game. It's not like it's going to go through an alpha and a beta test. Oh, good Lord, my accent. Alpha or beta testing. It's coming out. It's a full-fledged game. So they're going to have VR support completely done if they're committing to Squadron 42 having virtual reality. I haven't heard. I don't know if Squadron 42 is going to be VR support, but I wonder if all of this is kind of tied together. I wonder if this push for VR support now is less about Star Citizen and actually more about enabling it for Squadron 42. I don't know. I, at this point, am purely guessing at this point. Let's go back in time. Episode 142, we got a poll to get through, sharing my screen. So I asked you, the community, how impactful do you expect Alpha 4.7 to be for your gameplay experience? 57.1% of you say a noticeable shift. 28.6% of you say it's way too early to tell. Who knows? 14.3% of you say massive change, and no one said minor or mostly stability. So thank you for being engaged. I think that's right. I think those were the right answers. Noticeable shift. I think inventory affects everybody. Crafting, when it officially works, is going to impact everybody. But I think the too early to tell is the correct second option, because we still need to land the plane. I've made a lot of those references this episode. A lot of references to Star Citizen vernacular, but we need things to settle into their capabilities before we can truly get into how impactful this patch is or was. All right, we have only 3 comments to get through from this episode 142. So Shadowfire writes, they should have a display plaque for exclusive ships, like given in honor of XYZ. Then you can keep bragging rights and allow the ship to be available. This has to do with the Phoenix Emerald not being exclusive or a limited whole ship anymore. Billy the Beast writes, I really like the limited ships and exclusivity. I like how awesome it is to randomly run into a super rare ship. I like that there are some collectible like ships that are not everyone is able to acquire. Thanks again for what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to send that. Yes. I do like the collectible and rare. I do. I also like, I don't know, everybody having the ability to like get it and make it. But I think once you start introducing crafting ships in the game, I think the rarity is going to go away in that sense, but you'll have a new type of rarity. The new type of rarity being, hey, I chose this creation. I created this ship and it's modified and custom to how I made it. So I think that's, to me personally, that's probably the better rarity in my mind. All right, Brent Sanders writes, I feel that the executive stuff needs to stand for something. The Phoenix in field, not so much because it is available in the game. I did get the Emerald and have the Phoenix in the buyback. I was excited to get it, but then had the buyback and they released the Emerald as a non-limited. It made me feel it wasn't as special, like you said, but I thought about it and I was like, it's been in the game to buy, so I guess it has not been as special than I thought it was. Okay. Yeah, so you could always buy the Phoenix in the game. The Emerald is what made it rare. And so you would every now and then you would find like the white version of the Phoenix kind of flying around. Luxurious, awesome. It's definitely a tip of the hat to that individual for having a rare ship. But it was the green and white, the Emerald, that was like, oh crap. Like, okay, it's that additional exclusivity. So again, I keep on going back to like the Shelby Cobra. It's that just you're very rarely will you ever see, these items or these ships. And again, it's not like everybody's going to go and spend the $350 to $400 it is to buy the Phoenix Emerald. So not everybody's going to spend that money, but I feel like the limited hull ships also have a story that come with it, right? Like the F4 war or the F5 war, like having to refresh your screen to make sure that you were one of the first ones to get it into your cart, and then having to go through a couple of cycles to get it from the cart to purchased. Like there's a whole story. There's a lot that comes with that. Now, irrelevant and insignificant in my opinion, at the end of the day, but there's like so much more to it, I think. And so just seeing it kind of go away, I don't know. It is what it is. I think these comments kind of hit on it. You either like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, you got to get over it pretty quickly because CIG has said that this is the direction they're headed. So you might as well accept it now and move on. So take that, listener. What a great message to end on. Just take it. Take it. Guys, thank you so much for another great episode. Episode 143, another one in the books. We keep on trucking. We will be at 150 episodes in no time here in the next, I guess, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, so 2-3 months. That'll be over the summer. We'll be so much closer to Squadron 42, and maybe we'll have Nick's one by then. A lot of things to look forward to in the next couple of weeks/months. Extra life, extra life, extra life. Do it for the kids. I don't get a damn thing from doing Extra Life, but it's one of the most important things I do for the podcast. I use the platform in order to help bless children in need across the United States. So please give the details. Again, we're at the top of the episode, so please feel free to rewind and take a look at that. If you want to become part of the conversation, you can do so by emailing us at contact@beyondtheversehq.com or respond to the comment section in Spotify. Obviously do the polls in Spotify, but do become part of the conversation. I've said this a million times. If I could talk with every single one of you, I would. I do this for the social engagement piece of community engagement. So I wish I could, but I can't. So email and leave comments so that I can at least hear from you and participate in that way. I truly, truly mean that. Enjoy 4-7. Take your time, spend time through it. ignore what I said about crafting. Go do your thing, right? Go see if it works for you. Try to dismantle some items, and hopefully it does. Hopefully it works for you. And I really do hope it does. But take your time, really enjoy it. This is a very consequential patch, and it's very easy to log in and be like, okay, that's great, and then log out and be done. Acknowledge this patch for what it is and what it did for the game, and what it will do in the QV breaker stations. I'll leave it there. It is a great experience for you and your friends to go do. And if you don't have friends to play with, join us in Soul Provision, soulprovision.com. Pretty easy way to get started. All right. Long episode. Guys, safe travels as you traverse beyond the verse.